Joaquin Niemann wins for the 5th time on the Live Golf Tour. And I don't know how many starts they've had. Is it 9 at this point? Probably, maybe 10. So he's won half the time virtually.
He has, and this is again a stat. Sean Lowry is our guy who sends me live stats every week.
I love that you get live stats every week from.
It's so good.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Sadiq Bey coming off the bench. Alvarado missed a lot of time. Jordan Hawkins has had his moments. So, and remember, they picked out even a guy like Kevon Looney off the bench. So, to me, they could be there. You know what? And it's crazy because last year I was so big on them, and now I'm off of them. But I'm going to say it. Fly, Pelican. 7-1. Fly, Pelican. Fly, Pelican, fly. 7-1. Worth it.
So, here's why JY is great, because sometimes I almost, it's tough when I sell JY, because now what will happen is, right? I mean, listen, it's the middle of the summer. You know what I mean? And what's going to happen in 2 months from now, JY's going to go, now listen, me and K-Dub love these Pelicans. I'm like, when did I say that? When did I don't remember that one. JY.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
So I drafted Aaron Jones in my dynasty league, but he's like my 4th running back, to let you know that people don't really believe in him. And by the way, when you play in a dynasty league, I always play to win this year. I don't worry about next year. I want to win now. Flags fly forever. I'll worry about next year. So, but I got Aaron Jones last year, 1138. So he's going to drop that down by almost 50% not to get this total here. Yeah, I think he gets. I'll take the over.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Time to rise and grind with the early line. No better place to do it on the Sports Grid Network. My goodness, what an action-packed show we have for you today on a Thursday. It is a short Major League Baseball card, only 4 games, but the NFL is back in our lives. The official kickoff, week 1 of the preseason. We got a little bit of a taste of it last Thursday night in the Hall of Fame game. Unbelievable line moves today that we'll go over. It's Donnie Rightside, it's Joe Ranieri, and you know the drill, guys. The next 2 hours, we got you covered on all the hottest topics across the sports landscape to bring it right into your living room. I know Joe Ranieri's fired up, ready to go today, because why? Under first 5 innings yesterday, Joe, again, looked like we were cruising for a victory down there at Atlanta, but don't worry about it. Bye-bye's on the way tonight here. I had Joe covered last night with a nice little Mariners win, so we're a team, Joe. 1-1 yesterday. We go to 2-0 again tonight at the end of the show. I believe it.
Quality teamwork, ham and egg in it there, Donnie. That's what it is all about. But the good news is we got a lot of football actually to discuss here coming up over the next 2 hours.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about it too, because we like Joe, 1 point line, 2 point line. There are some 6 to 7 point line movements here in week number 1 of the preseason, which is pretty incredible. And that lets you know that some starters are expected to play. Nice little teaser. But before we get to that and much more, let's get to the 7 and 7, the hottest sports topics out there. And it starts with an almost no-no yesterday at Citi Field. The New York Mets get beat by the Cleveland Guardians, but Gavin Williams loses his no-hit bid on a 9th-inning home run to Juan Soto. The Mets, I believe, got swept out of town in their own building here, and the Guardians looking to try to close that gap on the Tigers, but yesterday Gavin Williams was the big star.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that would have been hard to believe, but Cleveland's first no-hitter in 44 years. That was until, of course, Soto got up in the 9th one out and scored an empty netter. Congratulations, I guess, if you're the Mets. You won the battle, lost the war. You didn't get no hit, but you also didn't win a game against the Guardians at home all week long. So, and the things aren't going great at Citi Field with the New York Mets, but kudos to Gavin Williams. And you know what? It could have very easily been Gavin Williams goes 7, the bullpen comes in, but no, he threw over 125 pitches, 126 pitches to do so.
Yeah.
Kudos to him for hanging in there.
Let him absolutely roll. I love when managers get to do that. Could have made some history there. Wasn't meant to be. Just the way it is. Juan Soto's a good hitter. Goes yards. And not only do you lose the no-hitter, you lose the shutout as well. But still, picking up the victory were the Guardians. And here's the game we're talking about just previously. The Milwaukee Brewers 5, the Atlanta Braves 4. The Braves 47 and 66 on the season. But Joe Ranieri had a team total, in the first 5 innings total under 4.5. Joe, you headed into that 5th inning 2-1 here. Strider's on the mound. Quintana's on the mound. They're rolling. And Strider gives up 3 runs in the top of the 5th inning. That was a doomsday. The Brewers pick up another victory and stay hot over the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, and Quintana gave me exactly what I thought he was going to give us there yesterday. This was a guy that thought he was going to be traded at the trade deadline, but he ends up sticking with the best team in Major League Baseball right now, the team to get to 70 wins first, and that's the Brewers, and they hold on again with another great bullpen effort for a 5-4 win, but I just didn't see Strider melting like he did there in that 5th inning. Thought this would be a little lower scoring game, but ultimately that's the 70th win for the Milwaukee Brewers. Unreal.
Unbelievable, man. 70 wins for the Brew Crew here, doing it in every which way possible. You want to score high-scoring games, they can do that. You want to go low-scoring, they can do that. You want close games, they can do that. They've done it all this year. 70 wins is pretty impressive. How about the 61st win for the New York Yankees yesterday? By goodness, Joe, did they need that? 3-2 victory over the Texas Rangers. It was Paul Goldschmidt's 7th inning solo shot out to left field. A 3-2 victory, which also included David Bednar getting a save over 5 outs. So you know what? We're not rolling the dice here. Bednar closed this bad boy out. They did it. A crucial victory for the Yankees yesterday over the Rangers.
And he did it by striking dudes out left and right, including Garcia, I believe, for the final out. And yeah, the Yankees needed that. Keep this in mind, too. I believe Yankees are now 9-3 in games in which they are on the verge of being swept in a series this year. So Yankees showed up in a big way yesterday, and it wasn't a blowout game, but you know what, Donnie? I think they needed this kind of effort and this kind of win more so than an 11-1 victory. I think they needed to be able to grind one out, and that's exactly what they did.
Like when you lose so many games or things are slipping away and other teams are playing better, you're just looking for ways that you are going to lose as opposed to ways you are looking to win. That was a nice win for the Yankees yesterday, salvaging that series with at least a game. We'll see where that takes the New York Yankees. But Aaron Judge got a base knock yesterday, still hitting in the high 330s. We'll see if he can be that catalyst down the stretch for the Yanks to get them back into that playoff race. Technically, they're in the wild card spot right now, but they don't want that. They want the division, and they certainly want bigger things beyond that. How about bigger things beyond the Los Angeles Dodgers? Yeah, the Dodgers lost yesterday, but is it a moral victory? Because Shohei Ohtani yesterday at the plate, a home run and 2 RBI. Shohei Ohtani on the mound, 4 innings pitched and 8 strikeouts. But they still weren't able to come away with a victory. My goodness, look at the Cardinals out there doing the job with Liberatore on the mound. But the focus certainly is on Shohei Ohtani, Joe.
Yeah, well, we talked about it. We knew he was going to go, 4 innings. They had set it. But, you know, what this guy can do, dude can go 4 innings pitching-wise. He can go out there and strike 8 guys out, and then he can go up and get his 1,000th hit. I mean, it's absolutely crazy what kind of machine this dude is and how talented he really is. But, you know, it wasn't Ohtani that gave up that lead there. They were up 3-1 heading into the 6th inning, 7th inning, and then the bullpen of the Dodgers. That's going to be a problem. I'm telling you, Donnie, moving forward.
Wake up, LAD. By the way, talking about guys in training camp, you know, in the NFL trying to get paid, trying to hold out here. Roman Anthony, 8 years, $130 million extension. Roman Anthony, didn't he just come up to the majors? Taking a play out of the playbook of the Atlanta Braves. If the guy is good, buy out his arbitration years, you'll save a little bit of money. Roman Anthony gets $130 million extension. He's excited about that. He'll still be in his prime when that 8 years is up at this point, even though there is a club option for the Boston Red Sox. I love to see this. If you think the guy's going to be good, Jerry Jones, pay him now. Look at the Red Sox. How do you feel about Roman Anthony getting 8 years?
Well, I think it's a no-brainer from Roman Anthony's point because, listen, there's no guarantee here, my friend, that, you know, you're going to be that you can maintain and still be on the team in a year from now. So the fact that you can lock yourself into an extension and get it done now. I mean, I know Bobby Witt Jr. did this or with Kansas City. This is something they went with, and I thought it was a great move for them. And listen, if this kid is going to be the face of the franchise, if he's going to be your future, lock him up sooner rather than later. So as far as I'm concerned, Kudos to him. Now he's just got to go out and prove he's worth that money. And then the next contract, Donnie, to your point, is going to be huge. Huge.
Buku bucks here. How about Mike Vrabel getting the scraps here? You want to be a new head coach in a new city? Show your team you're willing to get into the fight, which Mike Vrabel was yesterday.
We've said it forever, Donnie. Teams take on the persona of their head coach. Look, New England is going to be one tough SOB this year, and moving forward, I can assure you of that.
There you go. Oh, no Oklahoma drills needed for Mike Vrabel. How about this? You wake up with the early line. We are your smelling salts of the day, Joe. Quickly, the NFL's like, hey, you know what? As long as the team doesn't provide them, you can provide it. It's all good. Smelling salts back.
I thought Baker Mayfield was going to cry yesterday with the idea that he couldn't have his bath salts or some salts or whatever it is that he's going on there. Maybe he wants a bath bomb. I don't know. Maybe he was confused. But they have smelling salts back in play.
How come nobody's ever gotten suspended saying, hey, I took a bath bomb yesterday, but it was actually bath salts out there at this point? So I'm surprised that never happened. And you can get out of that as an excuse at this point. But you know where there's no excuse? That's the Dallas Cowboys. And that's Micah Parsons. And that's Jerry Jones. We'll talk Jerry talk next right here on the early line.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Right back here on the early line, the SportsGrid Network here. You want to tune in and watch us? We're on a plethora, a ton of spots here, and also, more importantly, SportsGrid Radio. And also go over to the SportsGrid app, download it right now. You can listen to us live wherever you go. The best app in the business. But for now, it's Donnie Right Side. It's Joe Ranier and the hottest topics, including out in Oxnard, California. Every single day, we are hearing news clippings here of Micah Parsons, what he's saying, but more importantly, what Jerry Jones is saying here. And here's Jane Slater of the NFL Network caught up with Jerry Jones.
I bought the Dallas Cowboys with a handshake. Took about 30 seconds, and I gave the number, shook hands. The details we worked out later. As a matter of fact, one of the details involved a lot of money, and we had to flip a coin over that. But the fundamental, I'm buying, and you're going to sell it to me for that range, that's done. And those are done with eye contact and handshake.
All right, so let's get to the bottom of this, right, Joe? So Jerry, again, spouting nonsense. So what he's saying is, sometimes these deals don't get done on paper first. It's a handshake and you look him in the eye. Did we not do this back in March when you told us that you were in a meeting room with Micah Parsons, just you and him, and agreed to details, and away you go? April, May, June, July, now August. So apparently, Jerry, that's not how you get deals done.
And again, like, what can you hear me back there in the 50s, Jerry? Like, what year are you living in? We're not shaking hands and annexing Louisiana here, my friend, okay? This is a totally different world in 2025. This is about understanding agents are a part of the game. They have been for, 3-4 decades now. The fact that you haven't spoken directly with Parsons since this supposed handshake, or even contacted his agent in any way, shape, or form, is maybe the most unbelievable thing. And now he's trying to sell it off like this is how we do it in the NFL. You haven't done business like that in the NFL in 100 years, Jerry. Stop it, man. It's just all nonsense.
I need to understand, and I don't know if we're ever going to get to the bottom of it, but I do need Micah Parsons to pick up that microphone, get that podcast going, and explain in detail, like step by step, how this is going through, how this is not his fault, and how they have no idea how the Dallas Cowboys do business. Because, once again, it cannot be about money. You understand, he's going to make more than anybody else. Now, here's what I need to hear. Jerry Jones going like, well, TJ Watt got this deal. Myles Garrett got this deal. He wants a 30% increase over those deals. I said, okay, now that's just a little bit too much. But usually when you see the record deals come down, all you do is top it by like a percentage point. So you are the highest paid player, and that's what you deserve. So again, Joe, it can't be about the money. Is it personal feelings at this point? Does he not like the agent? Does he not like his own football team? Because nothing good comes out of this. And I understand in a couple weeks or a couple days, they're going to shake hands and say, there's a big to-do about nothing. We got him signed and away you go. But distractions on a football team that's trying to get ready for a new season with a new head coach is never a recipe for, say, you know what? That really galvanized us, that we fought with our best football player for months on end, and that drove us to getting to the Super Bowl. Stop it.
It's just amazing to me on how we have such short memories here. Because if you look back in the history of Jerry Jones, he has done this with just about every franchise important player when a contract came up. In fact, I think the only guy he didn't do this with was Troy Aikman, and that's because Jimmy Johnson probably threatened him to death. But they did it with Emmitt Smith. Right? Emmitt Smith actually had to sit out 2 games to show how serious he was. He did it with CeeDee Lamb last year. He's been doing it with Dak Prescott ever since Dak Prescott took over as the starting quarterback. Now he did it with Ezekiel Elliott. Now he's doing it with Micah Parsons. Does anybody else see a track record here? Is there a trend that you're missing? This is Jerry Jones. But the fact that he did this and now is trying to sell it as if, we're old school here in Dallas, and Micah Parsons walked into a meeting and thought you were going to talk about the leadership in a locker room, and you apparently cut him a contract. Like you made some sort of deal without his agent present. None of it surprises me with Jerry Jones because he's been doing this for how long now, Donnie?
It seems personal. It does, because the first time he's like one of the biggest agents in the NFL was like, I don't know his name. It's like, all right, here we go. Is this where we're going at this point? So it'll be interesting. It will end sooner than later, I do believe. I think he will be playing against the Philadelphia Eagles on that first Thursday in Philadelphia to kick off the NFL season. It is what it is at this point. But other business deals going around the NFL getting known here. How about Roger Goodell said yesterday here, just going over what ESPN now owns the Red Zone name and could use it for other sports. So let me ask you this question. The Red Zone, for a casual fantasy football fan is fantastic. You get basically every game, but you get the important parts of the game where you just want to see touchdowns scored and points scored here. The red zone being used in other markets, does that just mean like college football? How would you have a red zone for like college basketball? Every time a team crossed half court, you got to turn the TV on. Like, how'd that even go?
Yeah, they've been talking about that for a while. That's not new. They have. It's always been a topic of conversation on how can they work. A lot more media rights involved in college football than necessarily the NFL, right? So there's a lot of other obstacles when you start talking about college basketball and college basketball networks and college football. But they've been wanting to do some sort of style of the red zone for a while now. The problem is, do we really trust ESPN to pull all of this off and put it together? My fear, Donnie, is that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It ain't broke at the Reds. They're going to try to fix something, and it's not going to go over well.
It's like when you have like somebody has a great restaurant. You're like, okay, I'm an entrepreneur. I want to buy this restaurant from the current owner. And you go, look, I want to buy this, but I still want you to run this. I don't want to change a single thing. I'll pay you more money, but I think this investment is great. As opposed to, I'm going to buy this great restaurant, change the chef, and thank you for your service, whoever just owned it here. I'm getting a new manager in here. And you're like, man, this just doesn't taste the same. It just doesn't work. That's the same thing. Like, red zone is really good the way it is. Buy the entity. Don't change a single thing about it other than you are listed as the ownership group. And I think everybody probably will be happy with that. And it's Roger Goodell also saying that, hey, we don't compete with Major League Baseball and the NBA. We're competing with Google and Apple here. We understand that the biggest conglomerate is the NFL right now. Just keep it the same. We don't want a lot of change in the NFL. It's fine the way it is, and that also includes the red zone at this point now. A lot more hot topics coming up. You know, coaches getting to scrums on the field. Amazing stuff happening. It's what we do right here on the Sports Grid Network, keeping you involved on all the latest topics. Joe Ranieri, Donnie Rightside. We'll be back right after this short break for more action. We don't care where you were drafted. You outperform somebody, you're going to be on that football field. Now, again, there are extenuating circumstances where you drafted quarterback number 3 overall. Yeah, they're going to try him out for the next 3 to 4 years, even if he's not as good as anybody on that roster. But from Shadur's perspective, that's probably the case. Tyler Huntley, Shadur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Deshaun Watson. There's a lot of names on that list, not a lot of good names on that list, so he can earn a job on this football team.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Edge rushers. That's where it is right now. And I think Myles Garrett is in a class of his own. I think TJ Watt's right there. I think Micah Parsons is right there. Certainly, those guys are very, very good. Myles Garrett is in a class of his own. He just absolutely is. When the advanced stats about the double team rate, his quarterback pressure rate, all of that, he just stands a notch. I don't want to say a big gap, but he stands a notch ahead of those guys.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
It was already pretty solid up top, but you had the bottom that's that much better with Ryan O'Hearn and Lariano. Like, we now have a well-rounded lineup on top of a great pitching staff. Michael King is expected to start making his rehab starts. So you have him plus Pivetta plus Dylan Cease. You Darvish is back. You have the frontline pitching, the depth of the lineup, and now a great bullpen. You have it all.
I really like it. Like I do. Like sometimes I get caught up in the Padres because of what they can be.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid. This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
Right back at it, people. It's the early line, bright and early on a Thursday here. We got NFL action tonight, a triple header on the card tonight. Huge line movements. We'll handicap those games, each and every one of them. But you know what we like at a training camp? Like, have you ever played football in your life? I don't care if it's peewee football. I don't care if it's middle school football, high school football, college, or professional ranks here. Nobody likes to go to camp. Nobody likes to be sore. Nobody likes to be tired. Nobody likes to be 90-degree temperatures, and you're hitting the same guy every single play. Fights end up breaking out. Now, typically, the scrums happen, the teams separate themselves, but every once in a while, you need outside reinforcements. And there's a tweet yesterday from Zach Cox that says Mike Vrabel is bleeding from his face after diving into a pile to try to prevent a fight. Can't say I've ever seen that before. The man, you cannot take the football out of this football coach. Getting down and dirty with the boys. The boys got to like that too, right?
Well, like I said, your teams always take on the persona of their head coach, right? And Vrabel is always been known as a player's coach. This is a guy that, as a player and a head coach, if you're a player looking at him, this is a guy that's been in the trenches. This is a guy that's got more rings than you could ever possibly hope to have on a hand here. He has been there. He has done that. And he carries himself like a player still. He has always been involved in practices and drills and going toe-to-toe with guys. And football players, they love that mentality. The Patriots are not going to be pushed around. They may not win as many games as you want them to, but my goodness, every game, win or lose, is going to be a fight when it comes to the Patriots and Vrabel.
There's always fights in camp. And by the way, I always like to go back to the mid-1990s in high school. I was a senior. Like, we had a 2-platoon football team, which basically meant, offense stays on one side, defense stays on one side, and you're all practicing against each other day in and day out. And they're your friends too. But it's hot, it's humid, it's angriness out there. And we were just doing run drills. And I'm a wide receiver. So my job was to go sort of like tie up the linebacker, maybe scrape off to get to a free safety. But one of my really good friends was a linebacker. I'm telling you, Joe, I held that kid every single play because there's no refs in practice. Every play until he basically was swinging on me. And when he was doing that, I sort of step away out. The offensive line handled their business there, and I walk back to the huddle with a big smile on my face. So just getting under people's skin is the way you do it in camp. It's always nice to see the coach say, hey, you know what? You don't want to break it up? I'll break it up right now. There's your boy DRS holding on every play when there's no referee as a wide receiver. That's the way you get it done here. But we talk about really good head coaches. That doesn't always mean coach of the year. It feels like when you're a coach of the year, Joe, you can't have too good a football team. You can't have too bad of a football team. You can't have high expectations. You got to overachieve a little bit to get that, because otherwise we would just say, okay, Andy Reid's the best coach every single year. Mike Tomlin's a great coach every single year. Nick Sirianni's winning Super Bowls. He's horrible. You get the point in this, right? So we look at the props market here. It's Ben Johnson at plus 650 price in the lead right now. But we're talking about Mike Vrabel. He's plus 750. Liam Cohen at 10-1. Aaron Glenn at 13-1. Pete Carroll 14-1. We say, what are we talking about here? None of those teams are going to win a Super Bowl, but yet we have the coaches of the year. Why? Because how I just explained it to you. The best coach doesn't win coach of the year. Make it make sense. It doesn't. The coach of the year is from a team with not a lot of expectations, but overachieves. Ben Johnson in the lead, Joe. Do you agree with that?
Well, this is funny, Donnie. Here's a trivia question for everyone watching. Who was the coach of the year last year? Exactly. I can tell you this right now here. The first 5 names on that list are all first-year head coaches with those teams. So what are the expectations? So you're telling me Aaron Glenn, for instance, the Jets head coach. So if they win, and what's their win total, Donnie? We lay at 5.5. So if they win 9 games, at 13-1, I got a pretty good shot of Aaron. Okay, so maybe he doesn't make the playoffs. He still finishes second to Buffalo, but he won, 3 or 4 more games than he was supposed. Is that like what is the barometer here for coach of the year? Because I can't even remember who won it last year, Donnie, if we're being honest.
Like, look at the MVP market, right? The best football players. We're not saying Patrick Mahomes gets lucky. He's got Andy Reid as a coach. He's got pretty good wide receivers. He's got a good running back. He's got Travis Kelce at tight end. Like, we don't look at it that way. Or Lamar Jackson, he's too good. Let's move him down. Like, look at the awards market and how it sets up. Not the top, Joe, the bottom. John Harbaugh, 75-1. They're supposed to win the Super Bowl this year based on the odds market. You know who's next at 75-1? It's Nick Sirianni, who's been to 2 Super Bowls and won a Super Bowl. Like, he's the second worst coach in the NFL. How about Andy Reid, 75-1? Maybe one of the best coaches in the history of the sport. He's third to the bottom for the awards market for being NFL Coach of the Year. It's an unbelievable. Honestly, I think it should go away, but that just goes to show you. Ben Johnson is the favorite. John Harbaugh, Nick Sirianni, and Andy Reid have no shot to be Coach of the Year this year. It's awesome stuff here. It's the way we get down on the early line. Let's flip it over to Major League Baseball. Big doings yesterday. We don't care where you were drafted. You outperform somebody, you're going to be on that football field. Now, again, there are extenuating circumstances where you draft a quarterback number 3 overall. Yeah, they're going to try him out for the next 3 to 4 years, even if he's not as good as anybody on that roster. But from Shadur's perspective, that's probably the case. Tyler Huntley, Shadur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Deshaun Watson. There's a lot of names on that list, not a lot of good names on that list, so he can earn a job on this football team.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
It's edge rushers. That's where it is right now. And I think Myles Garrett is in a class of his own. I think TJ Watt's right there. I think Micah Parsons is right there. Certainly, those guys are very, very good. Myles Garrett is in a class of his own. He just absolutely is. When the advanced stats about the double team rate, his quarterback pressure rate, all of that, he just stands a notch. I don't want to say a big gap, but he stands a notch ahead of those guys.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Was already pretty solid up top, but you had the bottom that's that much better with Ryan O'Hearn and Lariano. Like, we now have a well-rounded lineup on top of a great pitching staff. Michael King is expected to start making his rehab starts. So you have him plus Pavetta plus Dylan Cease. You Darvish is back. You have the frontline pitching, the depth in the lineup, and now a great bullpen. You have it all.
I really like it. Like I do. Like sometimes I get caught up in the Padres because of what they can be.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid. This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
Back to Major League Baseball right here on the early line. Joe Ranieri and Donnie Rightside right here on the SportsGrid Network. You want to listen to us, you want to watch us, easy to do. Make sure you get that SportsGrid app. Download it today. Follow all of your favorite hosts and handicappers here on the network. Easy to do. Great app. Keep you in the know. It's the way we do it, which means we got to keep you in the know about Major League Baseball. The Yankees, wow. What a victory yesterday. Finally in the win column. Felt like they were on 60 wins for an eternity. Get their 61st win of the season. A 3-2 victory over the Texas Rangers, which again saw Paul Goldschmidt hit a solo home run in the top of the 7th inning, and that was enough for the 3-2 victory. The Yankees, a much-needed win yesterday, Joe.
Yeah, and maybe more importantly, Donnie, that they might have actually found their closer. Which they might not have done, given the fact that I believe Boone wanted to take him out, but Bednar, you looked at him and said, absolutely not. You're not taking me out here, because he came in and you mentioned it, right? An inning and 2/3, he had to get 5 outs, and it didn't start off great with a couple of runners on, but Boone let him stay in, which is kind of crazy, and then he ended up delivering. So maybe the best thing about what happened in that win yesterday is that they now actually know who their closer should be, because I think we can all agree it ain't Devin Williams.
Yeah, past few nights, like, pitching really isn't their problem there, even though Devin Williams did blow that game. The Yankees' bats have been a little bit cold here as of late. And granted, Texas does have some decent pitchers, but Leiter went yesterday, 3 1/3 innings pitched, 2 runs and 1 earned off. But also, credit that bullpen for the Yankees for holding up. Leiter Jr., Hill, De Los Santos, and Bednar. No earned runs given up after Rodon gave you a solid start, 5 innings and 2 earned runs on the road. Everything worked in the Yankees' favor. But I do like where you're coming from, Joe, to start the show. It would have been easy if they won 20-1. It's like, okay, woo, yeah. But it is nice where you get that victory where you actually had to earn that in high leverage situations and say, you know what? We can do this, Joe.
Yeah, and you're doing it to a team that is on your heels right now, because I think the Yankees now just a game and a half ahead of the Rangers for that third and final wild card spot. So, that was, a playoff style game that both teams wanted it here, as the Rangers are trying to catch the Yankees and the Yankees are trying to catch the bleeding. But the more questions the Yankees can answer to themselves in this next couple of weeks with some wins, Donnie, the better off it is. You need to know you can win those games, those kind of grind them out games. You can't win every game, 15-2. Like, you have to be able to count on your bullpen, and you have to know who your closer is, Donnie. And to this point, we're in August and we had no idea who the Yankee closer, the number one guy, who is the Rivera of that bullpen that's going to come in and shut it down. And I hope that Bednar showed yesterday that maybe he can be that guy.
Yes, absolutely. And maybe he can be that guy. Maybe Devin Williams can get it together, just hasn't got it together yet as a New York Yankee. But if we look at the division landscape here, particularly in the American League, you look at the Toronto Blue Jays in the East, still with a 4-game lead over the Red Sox, who finally lost a game yesterday. But also Toronto stays hot. Those bats are absolutely cranking right now. They have won 3 games in a row. The New York Yankees still 6.5 games back. But if we slide it over to that Central Division. Remember that old Rockwell song from the 1980s? I always feel like somebody's watching me. Now, the Guardians have a chance to catch the Detroit Tigers. They're now within 6 games. This is a team supposed to be left for dead, making major changes at the deadline. A couple pitchers kicked off at least till the end of the month, it feels like, for gambling on their own team. Could they catch the Detroit Tigers here, those Guardians?
I am praying, Donnie, that the producers behind the scene clip that little little doohickey song you just sang there, because that was absolutely that was gold. Absolute gold. Really nice. I kind of got chills going up and down my arm right now. So can anybody catch them? Listen, the problem here is that I feel like the American League is still up for grabs. And to me, there's a half a dozen teams on that list, on it, that can get hot over the last stretch, last 6 weeks here. And we might be going, wow, well, didn't see that coming here. I feel like the National League's a little more top heavy, where we have a pretty good idea of who's going to be there when it's all said and done. I think it's still anybody's game in the American League here. And I think any one of those teams right now, you see the Guardians getting hot now. The Rangers are finally starting to live up to the potential. Are the Astros going to take a step back? Could very well be. I'm expecting that as well. So I still think the American League pennant wide open, and you can get some pretty good prices for some teams who could very well get red hot and ride that right into a World Series appearance.
Absolutely. And by the way, you want a little quick trivia on that Rockwell song there? There's a super famous singer on that song that was friends with Rockwell that sang the hook but didn't win any credits and didn't want to get paid for the song. Do you know who that singer was by any chance, Joe Ranieri?
I believe it was MJ, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was MJ there. So it was kudos, though. Classic, absolute classic.
Just hooking his boy up there. It's like, oh, that's Michael Jackson's song. No, it isn't. Isn't that Michael Jackson? Check the credits. Oh, he's not listed anywhere there. So a little bit of trivia there that the young pups need to know. That's what we bring you on the early line, which includes the West out there with the Houston Astros. They lost yesterday. The Mariners have won 3 games in a row. 2 games out now. Rangers 4 games out. But I like where you're going here. It just feels like it is a NASCAR race where everybody is packed together with equal opportunities to win coming down the stretch, Joe.
It really does. And some of those prices, Donnie, are I don't know that does everyone expect Toronto just to continue this and run away with the best record? No, I do not here. I think the American League West is going to be a battle till the final week. I don't think anybody is catching the Tigers. I think they're safe, although it does appear the Guardians, boy, just think about the Guardians since the All-Star break and what they have done and how they have now at least made it feasible that they can catch a team like Detroit if they go on a losing streak again. So, they were in no man's land. We had written them all off a month ago here, the Guardians, and yet you get hot, and look at that. It doesn't take long, Donnie, before all of a sudden the tides turn, and I still think we're going to get a lot more of that in the American League before it's all said and done.
Yeah, you see that graphic right there, leading the American League right now in the odds market is the Detroit Tigers. when you look in the NL, let's just say it's the Los Angeles Dodgers and maybe closely, we'll get to them with the Philadelphia Phillies. Like, okay, like that sounds about right. I still see the Detroit Tigers up at a plus 350, and it's not my fault. Like, they're a good baseball team. But now that you see that they were running away with their division, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 games up, they cut that in half. It's now the month of August. The pressure starts to build. It seems like a paper tiger at the top of that odds market right now, Joe.
I've been saying now for weeks, I do not believe in this Detroit team in any way, shape, or form. Great story. But when we're talking about representing the American League in the World Series and then possibly winning the World Series, yeah, I'm not buying Rafael Montero. I'm not buying Kyle Finnegan. I'm not buying this lineup. And with Riley Green, who can't hit water if he fell out of a boat. Like, this is it. They don't appear to be a championship lineup. What they are was a team that started off the season and won a ton of games and took advantage of a schedule. But that's going to run out of steam at some point. I don't think you're going to go toe-to-toe with some of these teams on that list.
Yeah, you don't look at these teams like, oh, Detroit can't beat them. Toronto can't beat them. Mariners can't beat them. Astros can't beat them. There are a lot of question marks on a lot of those teams, which keeps it fun, which is why they are so stacked up. But if I was just looking at one team, Joe, right, in the American League and say, give me that horse that you want to root for, that's fun to bet, and you think can do some damage, maybe the Seattle Mariners getting it together here, 5-1 price, trying to track down the Houston Astros, Joe.
Why not? Any one of these teams is still in play. I don't think we'll cover the National League coming out, Donnie, but to me, the National League, we can point to one or two teams and say, that's where it's going to be. You can't point to a team on here and go, absolutely, that's going to be your front runner, because it certainly isn't Detroit, despite what the market's saying.
Need a lot of respect here. By the way, those Texas Rangers, which took the series against the New York Yankees, they opened up a set against the Philadelphia Phillies with Zach Wheeler. Got his start pushed back, maybe not feeling so good in that shoulder. The Phillies are telling you don't worry about it, but that's a huge series for the Rangers to try to get out in that AL West race. More Major League Baseball coming up next. Shohei Ohtani time. Let's talk about him.
They're in a decent spot. They actually had a really great quarter this past quarter, and they're crediting what they're calling a smarter approach to sports betting and player quality, not just being lucky and being on the winning side of more bets. Of course, the past two quarters have been really bad for sports books, which just got hammered in the NFL playoffs, and then that continued into March Madness. But it looks like Q2 is shaping up to be much better for them.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Want to hear a crazy stat, guys, with this Pittsburgh Pirates team? I brought this up yesterday. Out of 106 games, they have been involved in 27 shutouts, 13 for, 14 against. Over 1 out of every 4 Pittsburgh Pirate games ends in a shutout. How crazy is that?
Total is 8 tonight.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Was already pretty solid up top, but you had the bottom that's that much better with Ryan O'Hearn and Lariano. Like, we now have a well-rounded lineup on top of a great pitching staff. Michael King is expected to start making his rehab starts. So you have him plus Pivetta plus Dylan Cease. You Darvish is back. You have the frontline pitching, the depth in the lineup, and now a great bullpen. You have it all.
I really like it. Like I do. Like sometimes I get caught up in the Padres because of what they can be.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
We don't care where you were drafted. You outperformed somebody, you're going to be on that football field. Now, again, there are extenuating circumstances where you draft a quarterback number 3 overall. Yeah, they're going to try him out for the next 3 to 4 years, even if he's not as good as anybody on that roster. But from Shador's perspective, that's probably the case. Tyler Huntley, Shador Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Deshaun Watson. There's a lot of names on that list, not a lot of good names on that list, so he can earn a job on this football team.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Los Angeles Dodgers, they're not panicked here. It's not like the Yankees situation. Oh, no, we fell to first place, second place, now in the third place, and we're fighting for a wild card. We expect the Dodgers to be there in the end-all, be-all. But yesterday, we had a 5-3 victory, not by the Los Angeles Dodgers. It was by the St. Louis Cardinals. And why was this a big game? Well, Shohei Ohtani was back on the mound after leaving his previous start, Joe, with a little bit of fatigue, maybe cramping in his hip or leg. This start actually saw him get stretched out a bit. 4 innings pitched in this game. 4 innings pitched. 54 was the pitch count. 2 hits, 1 earned run given up, which is fine, but 8 strikeouts here. He was really good. At the plate, he hit a home run. You tell me Ohtani started a game, Joe Ranieri, had 8 strikeouts and hit a home run, and the Dodgers lost to the 58-58 Cardinals? What?
Yeah, bullpen, which has always been the issue here. We knew he was going to go 4 because we know the Dodgers are going to look to stretch him out over the month of August in his starts to get him ready for the postseason. And true to form, he looked at times just absolutely unhittable there. To go 4 innings and strike out 8 is a pretty good ratio there, Donnie. But to do it and then go to the plate and be able to give yourself a lead as a pitcher, it's just not something we're used to seeing in Major League Baseball. We've not seen that for a very, very long time. And this guy, the guy's a unicorn as far as I'm concerned. He's a Halley's Comet. Guy comes around once every 75 plus years. That is just that much better than everybody else. It truly is. Enjoy it. Don't take it don't take advantage of it. Don't forget about. Watch this guy so you can say that, yes, I remember when what possibly could be the greatest two-way baseball player in the history of the game. Yeah, I remember when he was with the Dodgers.
Exactly. He's a great baseball player, and this is why sometimes we talk about, usually, the smartest man in the room is the odds maker, right? Like, okay, he makes the odds here. House is always going to win. I just have no idea where like the odds market goes at times when we talk about the National League Cy Young. And if you guys have watched this network, and I know you have, for 3 months, I just keep saying it's over in the National League. Shohei Ohtani is the MVP. He does what nobody else can do. He's going to be just as good a hitter as anybody else, and now he is on the mound and he's being stretched out. So we have those minus 220s, minus 240s. Now we're at that minus 1450 price, which means, look, he's the favorite to win it. And I keep saying this should be minus 14 million as a price point here on Shohei Ohtani. Schwarber, love you. You hit 70, you'll be in the conversation. You hit 55, you're not in the conversation here. Ohtani's going to win this award. And as Joe was just saying, this is something that we don't see in Major League Baseball. And I'm telling you the next couple of years, because if Ohtani is healthy and is still a very good hitter and still pitches, he should be the NL MVP for the next decade with nobody even coming close to being in the running. But here's what we're going to do, similar to what we do with Nikola Jokic. 20, 15, and 13. Boy, he's really losing his grip out there. Oh, really? A center getting a triple-double every single night. He's losing his grip, and you got to give it to somebody else. And it's going to turn into, well, Ohtani pitches. That's not fair. You can't hold against the other Major League Baseball players for not pitching and hitting at the same time. We're going to get to that point. Ohtani is so far and away the best player in the National League. Again, it should be minus 14 million for him to win this award, not minus 1450.
No, it's not even close. And unlike his fellow former MVP there, Aaron Judge, who now all of a sudden the odds have plummeted there, I can't think of anything. Even if he doesn't, let's put it this way, Don. If Ohtani doesn't play 1 inning the rest of the regular season here, he's still your MVP. Yes. It's bar none to me. So, I mean, here we are with, 6 to 7 weeks left in a regular season. And guess what? He don't play another game. He's still your MVP here. Nobody's catching him.
Like, you look behind the scenes, too. Like, again, it's not one MVP like in the NFL. It's like, okay, who's the MVP? I'm like, oh, man, maybe Mahomes, maybe Jalen Hurts, maybe a guy from the NFC, maybe a guy from the AFC. It's individualized where it's American League and it's the National League. It would be fun to see, though, where Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani both healthy down the stretch, what that can be. But it's not. Like, Aaron Judge is going to win that award in the American League, but like Kyle Schwarber's having a fantastic season. But also understand this, Kyle Schwarber is just a DH as well at this point. Now you have Shohei Ohtani's the DH, but now he's pitching every 5th day. That sort of wipes Kyle Schwarber out of the market. Pete Armstrong, love you. Having a great season in Chicago. You're not an MVP. Neither is Manny Machado, Juan Soto, or Kyle Tucker. Great baseball players, but there's great and there's absolutely elite. And that's what Shohei Ohtani is. Like, where does he wind up on the season? Like, what statistics would you give Kyle Schwarber, Pete Crow Armstrong, or Manny Machado the MVP over Ohtani? Specifically, Joe, if Ohtani is now, all right, you saw me for 4 innings. I'm going 5 innings or more right down the stretch in a playoff race. I don't see where this number, it's so low right now at $1,450. But most of us, Joe, aren't going to lay $1,450 down to win 100 and wait 6 months to get that back. But if you had that money to put away, he's your guaranteed MVP, barring disastrous injury.
Correct. Even then, I mean, there is an argument to be had that says, you know what, I wish he was just a hitter, or if that's only where his focus was, or if he was just going to pitch and how good he could be from that standpoint. Yeah, the problem with Ohtani is that he is so good, he needs to be an everyday player. And you can't say that about a lot of guys, Donnie. I mean, they don't have that option of pitching every fifth game. This guy does, and he's going to be doing it for some time, provided he stays healthy. And if the injury is his arm for some reason, he's still going to hit 40, 50 home runs a year. He's going to drive in as a leadoff batter, Donnie, as a leadoff batter. That's what he is with the Dodgers here.
Let me ask you a question, too, about Ohtani. Like, what is our game plan for Ohtani? Like, obviously not being the manager or the general manager of the Dodgers. Is that plan to get him 5, 6, 7, maybe up to 8 innings and being a full-time pitcher down the stretch? Or is it, we got a good thing going right now. We use him every fifth day. We don't want him throwing 100 pitches here because we can't risk him damaging his elbow where he would have to get surgery, which means he can't even be a hitter at that point. What would you do with Ohtani? Just let him go in this progression and say, you've always been a pitcher and we'll stretch you out to 7 innings? Or do you keep him sort of under a little bit of a belt here?
I would do exactly what they're doing every year. I wouldn't put him on the mound until late July into August, stretch him out, and make him available for every postseason run that you're going to be available. I don't need him pitching in April. I don't need him pitching in May, Donnie. I want him pitching July through the postseason, and that's it. That's exactly how I would handle Ohtani from this point moving forward.
By the way, he's got really good stuff on the mound. Does he ever transition, Joe, to the bullpen and just close games out? Because your career can go so much longer and only throw 15 pitches a night at that point. More hot topics in Major League Baseball next, right here on the Early Line.
Can you handle the heat? If you don't mind the desert at the hottest, consider visiting Vegas in the summer, where the temperatures are high and the prices are low. Have fun! See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
He comes back, and what we're talking about, mid-August at that point, and then he gets a couple more starts and they're ready for the postseason. So right now, I would say probably not an issue long-term. Obviously change the lines of what we're going to see today. I haven't seen the lines reopen, at least on the FanDuel Sportsbook. They're locked right now. So not an issue right now. As long as he comes back and he still has that plant leg and he's still strong with that, probably no worries for the Brewers right now.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Luka Doncic lands the cover of Men's Health magazine. Let's say that again. Luka Doncic lands the cover of Men's Health magazine. I mean, that's noteworthy because Luka Doncic was seemingly traded away from Dallas because the Mavericks weren't sure if he was ever going to get in shape enough to deliver on his full potential.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
I like Payton. I like Jeremy Payton. I think he's a nice player, but really, look at this offense. You're shocked that they win games 2-1. I mean, they're an under machine. Solid pitching, even though Hector Staff's on the injured list still. The bullpen's solid, and they can't hit a lick. They average what? It seems like they average 3 runs a game, but somehow they run off 10 in a row. They're 10 games under, and then they're 20 games over 500. How does this team do it? That's just in them, though.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Joe, it's got to be a nerve-wracking situation for any pitcher anytime you have history in your grasp. And unless you've done it 7 or 8 times and have a ton of no-hitters or perfect games, which most people don't, you probably get nervous. And I always like this lie. They asked Gavin Williams yesterday, when did you know you had a no-hitter going? By the 7th inning. Stop lying. You knew in the first inning, the second inning, the third inning, the fourth inning, the fifth, sixth, seventh, and right up to the 9th here. So let's just get that out of the way. But it's a shame, though, when you're a young pitcher in Major League Baseball with a chance to do something great, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and then all of a sudden that train comes down to like Juan Soto and smacks a dead center field home run to blow it up. You still got the win. It was still a great pitching performance. You'll always remember that. But boy, when you get so close to something so special that you will always remember, that's a shame he wasn't able to get it done. But stop the madness that he didn't know he had a no-hitter till the 7th.
Well, especially, Donnie, which is laughable, but we have not had a no-hitter in Major League Baseball since, I believe, Imanaga and a couple of relievers back last September. So we haven't even come close to that. This might be, 44 years with the club you're with here. I mean, you got to be kidding me. Like, you had no idea that nobody has been on base here because of a hit? Of course you did. You knew it in the 5th. You knew it in the 6th. You knew it in the 7th. You knew it in the 8th. Of course you did. But you know who else did? The Mets. The Mets also knew that.
By the way, Andrew Kittredge also, we're going to, no-hitter is awesome stuff. The perfect game certainly is the next level. Shame that Gavin Williams didn't get that here. But Andrew Kittredge throws the 120th immaculate inning ever in Major League Baseball. I'm telling you right now, when you see greatness, you know it right away. I could be at a ball game, Joe, invested in that game, and not even know a guy had an immaculate inning. The fact that we talk about immaculate innings as fantastic, and there hasn't been all that many of them technically in Major League Baseball history, maybe the most unappealing, oh my goodness moment, right? Oh, immaculate inning, fantastic. I bet you people at the Wrigley yesterday watching the game I had no idea.
Yeah, 9 pitches, 9 strikes. See you later. Bye-bye. Doesn't happen very often, and you can see why. That's a lot easier said than done here. But you're right. Most people in the stands had no idea. I would say 90% of the people in the stands, except for a few of the old school guys there that are still keeping box score there in the stands. Nobody had any idea that even took place. They just thought it was a pretty efficient inning, up and down, see you later. But that's pretty impressive.
A couple other quick topics here. The Milwaukee Brewers win their 6th straight game, their 70th overall. Roman Anthony gets paid with a big contract early in his career, Joe.
Yeah, listen, it makes sense. I mean, listen, tomorrow is promised to none of us, right? So here you are as a rookie, as a young guy with an opportunity to lock yourself in here with a monster payday, when anything is possible. Listen, if I'm the Red Sox, I want to lock this guy up because he has shown that he is absolutely going to be a cornerstone of this franchise moving forward if it all works out. But we've also know doesn't necessarily always work out. So lock yourself into the money when you can. And if it does, you're looking at maybe 2x, maybe 2.5x what this contract was the next one.
All right, let's look at umpires. Let's look at referees across all major sports here. I don't want to know who they are. I don't want to know their names. I don't even want to hear them recognized, because why? If they don't, that means you're doing such a good job. Here's the issue that we're going to come up with here. Major League Baseball. Jen Powell will become the first female umpire in Major League Baseball history. You know what I've loved to have seen here, Joe? If she's been an umpire since April and I never heard her name, I'd be like, you know what? If I first heard her name now, she must be really good at her job at this point, because that means you're not the Laz Diaz of the past and Angel Hernandez? Who is it? Angel Hernandez, right? Just horrible umpires. I don't like when we make a big story out of individuals getting a job here and a first time here. If she would have came up with no fanfare and just did her job, I would have loved that much more. But of course, we have to parade everything around, and it's all big thing like, hey, first guy from Somerdale, New Jersey to actually be a Major League Baseball player. Who cares? If that guy's a good baseball player, let him play baseball. Like the fact that she's in the majors. If she's good enough to be there, she'll be there. But if I never hear her name again now, that's great, because why? She must be a damn good umpire. I don't need to hear an umpire debuting, man or woman, in Major League Baseball or anywhere else. If they're good, and I don't want to hear about them.
She's 48. She is, she hasn't been fast-tracked, Donnie. She has been umping since 2016. She started out in rookie ball. She was called up to AAA a couple of years ago. She got to coach or actually ump in a spring training game in Major League Baseball, the first woman to ever do so. So, yes, now she has an opportunity to get behind the plate on this Sunday's game. Should be a lot of fun.
Oh, the judges will be out there as well. We'll check those ump cards here to see how she does. We'll find out, good or bad. We'll know right away. Hour number 2 up next.